Okay, this is the command line, right? We have one more tool to manage, this brocade switches. That is web tools. Web tools is this is the tool which we can use to manage our brocade switches in a graphical user interface by using a graphical user interface. For this, what you have to do, you don't need to do anything. Just you have to enter your server switch IP in a web interface. Then you can able to log into the web tools. Let me try that. My switches are very old switches, and the OS also it is a very old OS. So I'll not I may not able to open this web tools because we are running on very old version. And I forgot to show you the version, switch version here. Let me show you that also. Whatever the things you are doing in CLI, you can able to do everything in CLI, GUI also, most of the things. No, it was not able to open. Okay. Version is the command where you can check the version of your FOS. We are running on version 6.3.1a. This is a very old version, FOS version. Now it is like version 7.4 something. That is the current version, current OS. Most of the environments are on. Okay. You can check the switch version, FOS version, kernel. Kernel is the Linux version of OS, which will be running in the background in the switch. Okay, so you can check all these versions, firmware version, everything. You can check all these versions by using this version command. And as I mentioned here, PS show, it will display the power supply, and temp show, fan show, I have already mentioned here. You can set the timeout, like timeout 10 means if you are not using switch, then you'll be automatically logging out of the switch after 10 minutes of ideal time. Okay. Quiet mode means what it will do. Quiet mode, if you enable the quiet mode, then it will not show you the things which are running in the background. Sometimes when you're working on things, right, when you're typing command, if any alert comes now, it will display it here. If you're not in a quiet mode, if you're in a quiet mode, it will not display those alerts here. Okay, it's like any alert message will not be displayed here. Switch show, license add, switch beacon. Switch beacon means switch beacon, if you are not able to identify the port. For example, you are here, you want to connect one of the cable uh, from server to one specific port, but the person in on site, he was not able to identify the port. So by using this switch beacon command, you can lit the LED, which is which is related to that specific port. So he can identify that port very easily. Okay, he can turn on, turn off LED on that port. So he can able to identify the port itself. You can disable, this is the process to configure the switch. If you got any new switch now, first what you have to do, you have to log into the console. You have to disable the switch first. Then only you have to configure the parameters like a domain ID, everything you need to configure. After that, you need to save and you have to enable the switch. Okay. This is the command to check the configuration of that particular port CFG show. It will display. It will display the configuration of that particular port. Okay. And if you want to check the port in detail information, port show, we have already discussed about it. And port enable means you can disable and enable port. Okay. If you want to perform any configuration changes, before that first you have to disable it, then only you have to change the configuration. After that you have to enable the port. Okay. In order to perform any configuration changes, you must have to disable the port before that. And if you want to change the port to F port, then port CFG F port, and you have to mention the port number here. Then that port will be configured as a F port. If you want to change it to E port, then port CFG E port and port number. If you want to change it as a trunk port means you are combining two physical ports into a logical port, right? Then you have to mention the port numbers here. Okay. If you want to change the speed, that means we have a speeds, right, like a 4 GB ports, 8 GB ports. If you want to change the speed, then you can use this command. Okay. So backup and restore. Okay. This is the process to configure upgrade the FOS version. Those are very advanced concepts. We don't require that stuff, but if you want, I'll explain you theoretically. Okay. First, what we have to do, we have an existing configuration, right? When you are performing any OS upgrade, before doing that, you have to back up the configuration of the switch somewhere. Okay. Because when you are upgrading, if something got corrupted, so you lost the configuration, no, entire fabric will goes down. That is the reason we have to take the configuration backup before proceeding with any firmware upgrade on switch. So this is the command to take the backup of the configuration. Config upload. If you run this, enter this command, then it will ask you for again server IP, username and password, where path of the folder where the configuration needs to be backup. It will give you all the you have to provide all the information. Once you provided that information, then whatever the configuration on that switch, it will be uploaded to that particular place. Okay. If you want to, if something went wrong, so you need to restore the configuration, then what you have to do, you have to disable that switch. Just run this command, config download, and supply all the details like server IP, username and password, location, and enable it. Then again the switch will be back to functional state. Okay. The same thing here. I mean, that's it. These are the things we can discuss about the switch. I mean, and failover, all these things will be like these things will be you can able to see it on a director level switches only. I don't have any director level switches in this data center. Okay, so I cannot able to show you all those stuff. That's it. This is about our entire fabric switches. Okay, zoning, all everything we have already discussed. Zoning, all the stuff with the commands which are related to zoning. And this is ISL, which I explained earlier. Principles which we already discussed, everything. Okay. Okay. Now I'll explain you some more important commands. This is HSO. HSO is the command which will display the status of service processes. We don't have a service processes here because this is a broken 300 switch. 300 means it is a department level switches. In department level switches, we don't have a multiple service processor. We used to have only one service processor. So if you are doing some maintenance activity in department level switches, you must have to bring the switch down. But if it is a director level switches, we have a two service processors, right? So if you are upgrading OS on director level switches, you can do it on first service processor first. Okay, first. And once first service processor is upgraded and came back to the normal state, then you can proceed with the next service processor. So in order to check that which is active and which is passive, you can check by using this command ha show. This is the command which will help you. Okay, ha sync start means in order to sync the communication in those two blades, everything. Ha failover means you want to make the active one passive and passive as active. So you can use this command in order to do that manually. Okay, ha failover, everything. ERR show, port error show, support show, these are the commands which will be helpful as while using this one, troubleshooting. Okay, I'll explain you one more command, port error show, which is very important while troubleshooting. Port ERR show. Okay, this is the command which will display whatever the errors on the ports. Okay, you can ignore the port errors when they are in hundreds like that. If they are in thousands, 10,000 or lakhs, you need to concern there is something wrong with that port, or there is something wrong with the components which are connected to that port. So if you are seeing errors, any of these errors on that port, first what you have to do, just clear the errors on that port. Okay, just clear the, I'm seeing a port errors on port 1. So what I'm going to do, I'll clear these errors. Port stats clear and port number. This is the command to clear the errors on that port. Now again run port error show. See, those errors are already cleared by me manually. So what I'll do, I'll wait for some more time. I'll check that still these errors are occurring again or not. I'll check that for some period of time. Still I'm getting errors means there is something, some issue with the SFP which is resides on the port. So you have to go to the SFP information and you have to check the RxTX values. If SFP is good, then it might be the issue with the cable. Maybe there is a leakage in the cable. You need to change the cable, like that. You have to check that. If everything looks good, then it might be the issue with the server HPA, or it might be the issue with the storage fiber channel adapter. You need to check like this. Okay. Again, this is in the under troubleshooting. Okay. So if you see any errors in this command, it might cause us a lot of performance issues. If you are facing any performance issues, then straight away come here and check for port errors. Then you can see. Okay. Support show. I have already explained you. Topology and which topology we used, everything it will show you. Okay. So you have any doubts?
No, Navin.
Yeah. So tomorrow we'll start the class at same time. So we'll see how we can present storage to the servers by using this FCP and iSCSI, and we'll discuss about iSCSI also. What we'll do, we'll discuss iSCSI tomorrow, because iSCSI we can do practically in a lab. After that, we'll continue with the FCP day after tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. I'll upload the video within 5 minutes. Have a nice day.